A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa. Many thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure having you. Leading tonight's bulletin, the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation earlier today hosted an inaugural meeting of the high-level panel of experts on Africa and the reform of the multilateral system. Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, underscored the international community's obligation, which is to assist other nations who are still not enjoying self-determination. Nandi-Ndaitwah specifically made reference to the people of Western Sahara as well as Palestinians. Let's listen in.
Handling international dispute through dialogue is part and parcel of the multilateral system as clearly stipulated in the UN Charter to save the succeeding generations from scourge of war. Therefore, we need to reflect deeply and ask ourselves thought-provoking questions on the type of multilateralism system that will work for us and provide us with sustainable peace and, of course, a super socio-economic development.
Newly coronated Ovaherero Paramount Chief Dr. Hode Riwako has called on both factions of the Ovaherero Traditional Authority to work together to deal with matters affecting the Ovaherero people. He called on both factions to desist from ridiculing, ostracizing, and threatening one another, stating that these acts will compromise the ongoing efforts to unite the Ovaherero people and deal with issues affecting them. Riwako was coronated on Saturday as the 7th Ombara Oshitambi of the Ovaherero Traditional Authority at the Red Flag Commando 1 in Okahanja. Our producer Josephina Simeon was at the coronation and produced this insert.
Since this whole inner fighting has taken root within the Ovaherero people, what we have seen of late is ridiculing, ostracizing, one faction threatening the other's faction, degrading, dehumanizing, attacking, the persona of the other side on the other equation. And what I said very vividly is the fact that the more you do these things, the more you affirm those that we lead to rather choose the other path that is not necessarily ridiculing or threatening or trying to ostracize the other side. Vaherero kana kuba tuhepa wambanderu matuhepo kulipo bikulia o kana bikumi yango chetugule pamwe uliti ma amimengo kukapuka ngamwa omundu ngumango kulidikiro bigulyo muni inje tungulo muhokombwi twithamu muhokombwi mohanga uti no mofiona inje pudami Vaherero kamuna kujidwa kana kujidwa rule kakuna mundu ngukano ngulame no muye muni ngudano njara itu chiti zo binawe wana cheto linambia chita mule muna kabina kulihingiwe yetu ma public inje tuyanje bigulya ko shwana wana cheto ayagali wakalele obakwao inje ngatuye pamwe ngunda matuna nathana koma muhono koma nene wakotumanya nyo bigulya ko wana sheba etenga tukotoke tuyo sho mundu umwe hanike mo linaro chitu yapo bigulya ngatuye pamwe ngatungulo bigulya pamwe.
Switching attention to the Kavango West region, where Governor Bonifacius Wakudumo noted the management and conservation of natural resources and wildlife continues to provide economic benefits to people of the region. Wakudumo made mention of this during his State of the Region address held at the Kavango East Regional Council recently. Our correspondent from that region, Sawi Hausiku, filed this report.
To mitigate human-wildlife conflict incident awareness meetings were held at Mukwe, Ndiona, and Mashare, as well as Rundu Rural Constituency. 3 boreholes were drilled and installed at Muchiku, Shadi Kongoro, and Kashira villages, respectively. The project was funded by the Game Product Trust Fund to the tune of $1,500,000 Namibian dollars. Moreover, all communal conservancies, resources monitor in the region, and community game guard for the Karamashan Association received training on how to assess crop damages using measuring wheels objects. Furthermore, to help contain diseases and wildlife and wildfire, a tractor slasher, firefighting machines, and other equipments, as well as an electrical fence, were procured to the tune of 3 million Namibian dollars to cover the veterinary corridor fence, covering a stretch close to 37 kilometers from Buffalo Core area to the Bobata National Park towards Namibian-Angola border. This will help at controlling the movement of buffaloes and livestock.
On to municipal administration. A task team as of today embarked on visits to regional and local authority councils to assess the cause of the astronomical debts owed to NamWater and NamPower. The team will also visit the Northern Regional Electricity Distributor, NORED, as part of the assessment. Shalva Wells compiled this report.
This follows a cabinet directive to the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development and that of Finance and Public Enterprises to commission a comprehensive assessment in order to facilitate a permanent and sustainable solution that takes into account the negative impact of the huge debts owed by the regional and local authority councils to the 2 national corporations on their financial and operational performance. According to an internal memo of the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development on Friday, seen by NAMPA, the exercise will examine and profile the extent of existing accumulated debts owed by the Council to the 2 national utility corporations, the root causes of debt accumulation, the ability of local authorities to settle their existing debts, and the ability of local authorities to work out practical arrangements to settle existing debts and avoid future debt accumulation. It further read that the task team to be led by the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development is made up of officials, representatives from the Ministries of Finance and Public Enterprises, Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Mines and Energy, as well as the Electricity Control Board and NORED.
Stay tuned for the business segment. Welcome to the Primetime Biz Slot, the segment bringing all things business, economics and development to the fore. The aquaculture sector headlines the segment. 7 fishing companies in Walvis Bay are currently in the process of obtaining lists of fishermen to be re-employed through the Government Employment Redress Program. Isabel Bento provides us with more context.
This was announced by Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources Derek Claassen at a media conference held in Walvis Bay on Friday, which follows several consultations between the companies and employee representatives in Walvis Bay over the past 2 days. According to the minister, the companies, which include 3 in the hake and 4 in the horse mackerel subsectors, will then receive letters from the ministry indicating the volume of fish quotas equal to the number of jobs they are providing to enter into employment contracts with them. The fishermen in question are part of the 1,000 who lost their jobs in 2015 aboard numerous fishing vessels following their participation in an illegal industrial strike, now referred to as the Okapale fishermen. The group also includes fishermen who were laid off from Namsov owing to a 48% cut of its horse mackerel quota in 2015, and over 200 more who lost their employment after being abandoned by 2 fishing vessels operating under the Icelandic company Samherji, namely Saga and Gessi, in 2020. Reporting for Primetime News, Ishmael Mukuvonda.
On to some continental business updates. African leaders kicked off the mid-year coordination summit of the African Union in Nairobi, Kenya, with participants discussing the economic integration and calling for reforms of the international financial system. More from this report.
While the world continues to face unprecedented crisis from the social and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the African continent has suffered most, said Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations Amina Mohammed. She stated that unmet commitments by the international community to financing climate action and inadequate humanitarian responses have further aggravated the obstacles to the efforts made by Africa and its leaders to implement Agenda 2063. According to Mohammed, the UN joined the call by African leaders for the allocation of additional resources to their economies through the International Monetary Fund, which has been at the center of criticism by several African leaders. Kenyan President William Ruto, who joined other leaders in calling for reforms of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, said the African continent is subjected to an unfair global debt system, causing countries to pay at least 8 times more than their richer counterparts on account of their perceived risk. Reporting for Primetime News, Diana Kauta.
This concludes our top segment for tonight. We now look at how prospects are shaping up throughout the entire country in the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet, your go-to segment for all things action. The 2023 International Paralympic Committee World Para-Athletics Championships, currently underway in Paris, headline the segment. Namibia's T11 sprinter Lahia Ishitile, guided by Sam Shimanda, reached the final of the women's T11 200 meters after finishing third in the 200-meter semi-finals on Sunday morning at the World Para-Athletics Championships. Ishitile and Shimanda ran a seasonal best time of 25.78 seconds to finish third in Heat 1 behind Brazilian sprinter Jerusa Geber and her guide Gabriel Aparecido dos Santos. Staying with the Para Championships, Namibia's para-athletes Anania Shikongo and Johannes Nambala on Saturday night added 2 more medals to Team Namibia's tally after finishing second in their respective finals. In the 100-meter final at the Charlotte Stadium, T11 sprinter Shikongo and his guide Erwin Chiuchu equaled their African record of 11.11 seconds to finish second behind Greece's world record holder Athanasios Gervelis, who also equaled his championship record to 10.93 seconds to be crowned T11 100-meter world champion. Let's listen in to another post-race interview.
Congratulations for winning a silver. You were champion 2019 now. You came to defend, but you managed to get a silver. How was the race for you?
The race for me, it really wasn't that tough. Yeah, but it's just also a lesson learned that I need to put more work because the Japanese guy is a new guy, and then I don't know about him. He's a new guy that coming just to let me also know that there are people that are coming. I need to work hard on this.
Okay, looking at it now that you are going to work hard and we have 2024 coming, is this a good motivation for you now to work harder?
Yes, this is a good motivation for me because like as you said that I've been this is my 5th world champion, which mean I've been doing this for 10 years, and it's a motivation for me to work hard and to know who is in the game for especially this 400 with T13. It's really motivating
And is it worrying for you that there's a lot of youngsters coming in and they are running fast?
No, it's not worrying. You know, in sport, if you won and then you must go back and work hard. It's just a motivation. It's not a really
Okay.
Your sports roundup is up next. On that final note, we have reached the end of tonight's broadcast. As always, much appreciated for tuning in. Do subscribe for daily updates and engage with us by hitting the like button. Also share our news content with family and friends. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the latest updates on local, continental and international happenings. From myself, Salima Shumaifeleni Masipa, and the entire production crew behind the scenes, it's good night.